In this series, I'm reviewing, and then going to be rating the bottom 100 movies on IMDb. Not in order, or in any necessary order. We'll just do all of them, whatever ones I feel like watching, and then we'll rate them together. Christmas season is upon us, so I have decided to watch the one of the only 2 Christmas movies on the list. Santa Conquers the Martians. Yeah, it doesn't sound very exciting, does it? Yeah, this movie's fucking boring. I don't know how else to put it. This boring, stupid boredom. I'm gonna try my best to explain the movie to the best of my ability. In the previous review, Birdemic, I didn't really explain much of the summary, and that's because shit just happens, but in this, there's kind of context. So I'm gonna try my best to explain it here. In the film, we start with the Martian society, the people living on Mars, the aliens, or whatever the fuck. Their kids are, like, bored out of their minds, and are, like, depressed and, like, void of any childlike wonder. And then they get enticed by a Christmas channel that they're getting from Earth. And the Martians are like, oh wow, that's a good idea. Kids should be kids. I forgot. What am I gonna do? Actually be a good parent for once? No, I'm gonna steal Santa Claus off of Earth and hold him hostage and force him to fix my problems for me. That makes sense. So then they go to Earth, they find these 2 kids, and like, where's Santa at? They're like, oh, they're at the North Pole. Alright, cool. And then they pull out a fucking AR and kidnap children. They kidnap kids in this movie. Then they go to the North Pole and see a polar bear. A polar bear who is clearly a real animal and not just some dude in a costume pretending to be a polar bear. It was a real animal that they tamed, you know, they brought him in from the zoo, taught him some nice tricks, and, you know, was able to get friendly with the kids, you know. I think that's pretty interesting movie lore, that they would do that. But, you know, it's all fine and dandy because they have the killer robot that scares the polar bear away. And then Santa Claus just goes up to the killer robot that's supposed to kidnap him and is like, oh, wow, you're a pretty big toy. And then the killer robot can't kill Santa somehow. Like, he just he can't kill him because he thinks he's a toy. And the Martians are like, oh no. We can't use our killer robot because he's a toy now. What? Yeah, so that makes zero fucking sense. Much like the rest of this movie. So the villain is really upset because he wants the children to be depressed and void of life forever because he wants people to be sad and miserable like him. So he tries to eject Santa and kids out into space, which is already pretty fucking amazing. He was my favorite part of the movie, up until they get to Mars, where he just becomes a brain-dead moron, his big master plan is to sabotage Santa's workshop, like just vandalize it slightly, and then he thinks that that's gonna stop Santa, and he's gonna get away with it. Even though as soon as they get there, they immediately knew it was him that vandalized Santa's workshop. So that plan did nothing. He got caught, and then they win. The heroes win. And they send Santa and the kids back to Earth. And then that's the entire movie. It's a huge, boring mess. I know me explaining it makes it seem like it's semi-enjoyable. And I mean, there's some funny stuff, kind of. I laughed like maybe twice. But it's so boring. By the end, I was just fucking miserable. I was done. The only time I, like, really laughed was when they did, like, a racist joke, saying that, the Martian people were, like, it was some racist joke about Martians. I can't really remember what it was.
And go after those Martian monkeys.
Martian monkeys.
They're being racist to the Martians.
Legit, just racism to Martians. Hey, they didn't sign the Geneva Convention, so we can do whatever the hell we want to them.
Those Martian monkeys. What the fuck? So yeah, they say that shit, which is that's totally racist. Like, there's no way it's not racist. And they send a missile after them, but like, every military scene in this movie just uses stock footage from somewhere else, because they didn't have the budget to actually have military. So it's literally just like different stock things that they kind of put together to make it make sense. It's just so fucking boring. I literally have nothing to say about this. 2 out of 10. Garbage. Birdemic is already better. So on that scale, Birdemic is now a 4 out of 10. Because I actually had entertainment. I did not know how boring these movies were going to get. I thought I could just rate them on a film scale. It seems like they're all garbage, surprisingly. So I'm just gonna have to rate them on my enjoyment scale rather than how good of a film it is. Otherwise, these are all just gonna be 1s. So by my enjoyment, Birdemic is a 4, and this shit is a fucking 1 or like a 2. We'll say 2. It's a 2 because I laughed like once or twice. But besides that, it's fucking boring. I have nothing to say. What a piece of shit.